This episode of the ZuLoo Poodcast is sponsored by ZuLoo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at ZuLoo.com.
Then we tried pyrolysis. If you're familiar with that, that's cooking it essentially, where it's making charcoal. So if you've seen, if you had the char and the briquettes, that's probably from pyrolysis. The challenge we still had with pyrolysis was you had to drive off all that water, and so it smelled bad. So what this comes from, these two samples come from hydrothermal decomposition. That's the latest process we're using.
I was going to guess whatever you said.
Welcome to the ZuLoo Poodcast, where we talk all things poop, toilets, and sanitation. Through insightful news, impact stories, and quirky humor, we aim to discuss and highlight the critical role toilets play in whisking poop out of our lives, the impact toilets have, or lack thereof, in the health and wellness of humanity, and what ZuLoo is doing to help solve the current global sanitation crisis.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the ZuLoo Poodcast. We're excited to have you tuning in for another week. We are excited about today's episode. We've got an amazing guest, Michael Hall. Welcome, Managing Director at Hall Labs.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
So excited to see where this chat brings us. I mean, it could just, in our talk beforehand during dinner, it just could go so many directions. So welcome. I'd love it if you could tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself, who you are, what you do at Hall Labs.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm part of the third generation at Hall Labs. I'm the one that messes it up, right? So
you're on the downhill slide.
Makes it much better, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. No pressure. But we're in Provo. We're mostly engineers and scientists working on lots of different companies. We got our start in. We're inventors of the man-made diamond. That was my grandfather.
Incredible.
And over the years, we've got over 1,000 patents, and we've built a lot of companies. And usually what we've been doing is selling off technologies and companies, and that then funds the next crop. So latest batch of companies, we have 10 or 12 companies, maybe 10 projects.
Cool.
And so, Vanderhall Motorworks is one that many people know. It's one of our later stage companies. And then I work on some of the early stage things. So we've been working in sanitation and water for many years. I've worked on various companies, had a couple exits, done some things in later stage, but now I'm focusing a lot of my time on trying to figure out the tech side of this problem.
So if our viewers have ever been to Epcot Center at Disney World, how they've got all the high tech, tech of the future, little robots rolling around. That's what Hall Labs is. It's like Disneyland. You go in there, and it's kind of a nondescript building. You drive past it, you don't know that C-3PO is walking around in there, and toilets that talk to you, and just amazing some technology. Guys in white lab coats. I couldn't get a job there because I got C- in chemistry and calculus, but that's why I went to law school, because I couldn't make it. but we're super glad you're here. I know we've met off and on over the years, and last time we were there, we were seeing your toilet tech, and we hope to dive into that in this show. Yeah,
we'll do some poo news first, and then we're going to dive real deep into some toilet technology. Very excited to learn what this is.
Yes, this is the mystery. This is the vials.
Mystery. Well, show and tell. Yeah.
Now, was this smuggled out of Wuhan labs in China, or is it? Should we
locally
put a mask on when you open it up?
Homegrown.
Well, we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, as far as I guess we're going to do some poo news.
Yeah, tell us what's in the news, Darren.
And it's related. I found this poo news. It's kind of related to toilet tech, since we're talking about toilet tech.
We're on the topic, yeah.
And Bill Gates is sort of a toilet tech guy. Even though I wouldn't put him in the same category as you. As like super scientist, but he's got a lot of money, and so
he does a lot of things.
He does a lot of things, right? So, but anyway, this is an article, the Byte magazine, BYTE. I think it's a technology magazine. They recently announced a partnership, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They've been working on this Reinvent the Toilet project, as you probably know, for a number of years. They've come out with a really fascinating different technologies. This is one they developed with a partnership with Samsung. And the name of the article kind of caught my eye. It says, Bill Gates' new toilet sets your poop on fire.
What?
And, it's like when you see a headline like that, you got to read it, right?
Yeah.
So
I got to know what that means.
You got an image of burning poop, Anyway, this is, they talk about this, and maybe we can talk, maybe you already know about this. You probably know, maybe they got spies in your organization stealing your tech. But this is one that Samsung announced. The toilet itself is, it recycles urine through a purification process. And then the solid waste is dehydrated, dried, and combusted into ashes, which is like fire. Right?
Sounds like a lot of work. Yeah.
So anyway.
This is a toilet, or this is like a system?
This is a toilet. Well, I mean, it's
like an at-home system. It's what I'm curious about, like how.
Yeah, they've got an image here. It looks like a normal toilet, but maybe under the hood, it's got some little green men with torches that burn the poop. I'm thinking
some Oompa Loompas down there.
I think that's how it works. But have you heard of this? Is Bill like, do we need to talk to Bill and get our lawyers after him, or what's the latest there? Do you know much about that?
I haven't seen that one. I need to go look that one up. But we have with Never Dump, the technology that we were trying to do for the RV. We did combustion.
Okay.
So yeah,
and
we're very similar at that part of it.
You, as I recall, you used you macerated the solid waste, and then you was it solar panels that heated it up, or what was it?
No, we were using propane.
Okay,
because that's on board there. So that was really me kind of going to my wheelhouse. I come out of the automotive industry.
Okay,
and so I'll admit that one of my first takes on that attempt was, hey, let's put in a catalytic converter and a burner and a combustor. And we're Miguel Lazaro, our chief scientist, and I are very familiar with that one. We had lots of failed experiments. And
so burning poop is no surprise to you. You're like, oh, of course, you want to burn it.
Yeah, our challenges. It was very effective. Challenges we had with it was just the amount of energy. I know many people are trying to get energy from the from the poop, from the solids that are left over. Our experience has been to do it right, to get it to where it isn't going to smell and be really bad. It was a net. You just used too much energy,
right?
In our experiments. But
we did a
Interesting
tour.
Thought.
We did a tour because a couple of years ago before COVID. We went to University of Colorado at Boulder, and we interviewed the. In fact, there's somebody we should get on the podcast. We didn't have a podcast back then. We were just over there geeking out about their technology. They actually won one of the years of the Reinvent the Toilet Challenge. They were one of the winners.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, they took. They had. It basically looked like a space station. This toilet, and it had this big array of solar panels, and then it had fiber optic cables that directed the sunlight down into this chamber. I think it was about 800 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
I'm
familiar with that one. Yeah,
it just like blasted it, and out came these. I mean, I've got it somewhere in my closet or car somewhere. They came out with these little briquettes that are, solid pieces. I mean, it's fascinating technology. I mean, it would definitely work, but the downside is it costs $100,000 to build one.
Yeah.
And I think that's been one of the criticisms of maybe the Reinvent the Toilet is super awesome, but then, okay, how do you replicate that in the third world?
Yeah.
When, all you got is some clay bricks to work with, right? ZuLoo, as you probably know, has been focused on the low-tech side, through our earthworm-driven toilets. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to push the envelope, right? You got to, you got to keep. I see you've got a. I don't know. Do we want to get into this? Get into this now? What's in the?
Yeah, I'm curious.
What's in the mysterious?
Happy to. I mean, I will mention we've done experiments with vermiculture, and I think it's very capable. Really neat technology. We've been using it for some other things. So yeah, I think it would be a fascinating way to do it. But
well, what do we have here? What do we have on the table?
This is so part of what we
found. Should we put masks on, or are we okay?
Totally safe. In fact, we'll even sample this. If you'd like to smell. Because this is our success. I've smelled, Miguel and I and a few of our other unassuming assistants have sampled so many of these, and we think that we're getting closer to to something. But
when you say sample, you're going to sprinkle it on your sandwich, or are you just going to?
No, like a nice wine.
Just take a whiff.
Yeah.
Okay, take a whiff. Got it.
Although it is char. I mean, it should be inert.
What vintage? Totally what vintage is this? So it says. So tell us about it.
So hold it up to one of our cameras so our viewers check it out.
This originally came from, we have a local veterinarian who helps us out, and we've got a freezer full of dog poop.
Nice.
And that's the source of our experiments. We were doing lots of things outside, but we wanted to challenge ourselves to make it to where, nope, let's bring it into our labs. Let's get the tech right. Let's get the hoods right to where, if we fail, it's not bad that everybody in the office, smells it. But we have gotten a whole lot better. And part of the challenge we saw with, you mentioned combustion or some of the other ones that they're doing. The challenge is when you heat up that water to try and burn it.
Yeah.
First, you have to drive off all that water.
Yep.
And so you get the smells are just terrible. And our noses are so tuned in, like parts per billion will make us hurl. So I think what this comes from is kind of a similar process to, we've tried combustion. We tried, and that's, just oxidizing it, trying to burn it.
Yep.
And then we tried pyrolysis. I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's cooking it essentially, where it's making charcoal. So if you've seen, if you had the char and the briquettes, that's probably from pyrolysis. The challenge we still had with pyrolysis was you had to drive off all that water, and so it smelled bad. So what this comes from, these two samples come from hydrothermal decomposition. That's the latest process we're using.
I was going to guess whatever you said. Yeah.
So this process is high temperature, high pressure.
Okay.
And it's funny, when Miguel and I worked in the diamond labs of, our heritage at Hull Labs is diamond. And diamond is high pressure, high temperature. My grandfather made diamonds the same way the earth does. It was squeeze it, get over 1 million PSI, and carbon will change from graphite, like in your pencil, to diamond.
So cool.
And so with hydrothermal decomposition, it's similar to pyrolysis. You're cooking it, but what we decided to do was leave all the water in there.
Okay.
And so you can imagine as you heat up that container, you're kind of making a bomb.
Stink bomb.
But we looked at it and thought, high temperature, high pressure, that's diamond. That sounds like diamond. Come on, 3,000, 5,000 PSI. That's fine. We've done, ultimate, way more ultimate things than that. So,
are you saying you're making diamonds out of poop? Is that where we're going?
We're not going that far, but what we're doing, we're making a char.
Cha-ching.
What ends up happening with this is when we open up the vessel at the end of the run, we didn't let out any of the steam. We didn't let out any of the water. And so we end up with this just pure, clear water with this flowing around in it. So I probably should have brought in, I've got samples where it's in the water as cool. Well, but this is how the water boiled off.
It's probably stinky though, is it?
That's what we've been working on. We've had a couple experiments that give us some hope. It's way less stinky. So
less stinky than your normal poop. right? That's a big improvement.
Well, than the ways that we were doing it before. And so
Okay.
we're right in the middle of designing some new vessels out of Inconel. It's this really capable steel that can go to these really high temperatures. So we're going to go to higher temperatures and higher pressures and see what's there. But we've been working on, when we started, I'd say this would come out kind of brown.
Yeah.
And it smelled a bit like coffee. And we're like, hey, at least it's coffee.
At least it smells like coffee.
It's not,
Hey, coffee is way better than poop.
But lately I've got one that went to higher temperature. This one is 350 C. And this one, there's not much of a smell. If
I'm willing.
You want to give it your...
Okay, Kelsey, go for it. You're first.
Kelsey, all right. Go for it.
Yeah, it kind of just smells like rubber to me. Yeah, it's not Darren.
So you didn't pass out. So
I didn't pass out. I'm totally fine.
Whoa. Wow, that's like Jocelyn, come in here and take a whiff.
Like, to me, that smells like when you walk into an auto shop and you smell
like,
sort of the mix of motor oil and tires. That's what it smells like.
Our old samples, we had it pegged at coffee, and we're now trying to figure out what this one is.
I heard something
Jocelyn's in the back, thinking she's taking a break, but take a whiff of that. What are you?
What am I smelling first?
It's
charcoal.
That's
what it is now.
Speaking
like
to the mic.
soil. It just smells really earthy.
It smells very earthy.
It's not bad.
It's a nice sultry
I like
voice.
it. I think
It
I'll
could
hang
almost
out
be
here.
like a cologne.
You
Yeah.
can make a cologne like this. Would women like it? Would women like? Yeah, that is nothing like poop at all. It does smell like a tire shop a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sort of brings to question, because I don't think that we've touched on it yet. To what end is Hull Labs doing this?
So our hope is to, if we can get the solids down to this char, it just gets a whole lot easier to transport. So our goal is we're working on appliances that would be able to take care of the sewage on premises.
Cool.
So what we want to do, if we can get the solids from the poop down into a char, it's so little that's left over. It's so light and so small. You don't need a sewage line. You don't need a pipe going out. It could literally be the type of thing where it's almost like a water softener, or actually even simpler than that. We're talking about like maybe a 10, 15 pound bag, vacuum bag that every month you take out, and it's charcoal.
Yeah.
So you can have barbecue, or you can put it in. You can put it in landfill. You can put it on. It's a great soil amendment. You can put it on your garden. I mean,
yeah, that's awesome.
So, a question: this sample you just showed us, is this derived from what? What is this like? One typical poop that a human would make, and we've distilled it down to a little bit of, or what's the? I mean, how did you get that volume? I guess where did you start, and what is this the end result?
So we're
is
using.
That a good question?
Yeah, we've got our dog poop. We've got
this is dog poop. Though.
Yeah, this is dog poop. So that's what it started as, right? So I'd say it's something very different now.
Maybe about this size of dog poop, and now you've crushed it down to that. Would that be fair?
I think you're about on target, Darren. Yeah, it's incredible that poop,
this is not dog poop,
is,
by the way.
Yeah,
this is just.
It's still quite a bit of water, like anything else, like plants are and other things. It is a lot of water, so you're probably I'd have to go back and look at my math, but you're probably not far off of
most of the volume is water, and anyway, right?
Yeah,
like our bodies are like what 80-90% water.
Yeah,
is that right? And so if you were to put me in that hot toilet burner oven. You might distill down to a little bag of charcoal. Right?
You might be about this size, Darren.
Yeah, maybe so.
You into that, yeah.
My wife she's like, she doesn't want to be cremated. She doesn't want to be,
she does want to be cremated.
She does, but she wants to be made into a diamond.
She wants to be made.
So maybe we can That's another industry Hall Labs probably get into. But
we've had many people call when we were doing our presses. We were doing it for industrial purposes, but lots of companies would come, and actually some of them are making a pretty good go of it. Some.
Her one concern is that we'd lose her. Like where'd that diamond go? Oops. But this is fast. So back to this. So that's 350 degrees. What about this other sample? Is this two different dogs or two different?
This was just a run that actually we're doing pretty good. We used to be pretty brown, and this you can tell is a bit more brown.
Is that human?
It was
done.
No,
too?
This was dog as well, but this was done at a lower temp. So
what
old
breed or we have? I don't know.
Not sure. We went up to our old oven went to 350C. Our new one can go to 1100.
Wow.
Well, take a look at that.
Do you mind?
Go for it.
May I open it?
So we're not sure what the temperature was with this one.
This one was maybe
it's a
250.
little muskier. Yeah.
250. So.
Oh yeah. I think
I didn't try this one. I don't.
This
was more like the coffee
was
cappuccino. I don't
Trevor,
know.
you gotta come together. No, it's not that bad.
All right.
It's not. I wouldn't even say it's bad.
This was a good year. This is.
Yeah, it smells like coffee.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here.
Hey, thanks.
Okay, yeah. So that's obviously a more pleasant odor than the original.
Yes.
Yeah, I know this is what
so
this latest one, things change. This is how it was for the longest time. And
do you have to let
improvement on this one for sure? Yeah.
So we don't. You haven't explained where does that water go? Is it just vaporized off? Is it steamed off? I mean, are you piping it out the ceiling, or what's the? I mean, where does that go? Where does the water go?
So our plan and our design, we're doing most of this underneath the floor. So we used to design a lot of toilets, but we found out that, wow, is it a culture, religious even thing, right? It's like sort of like, oh, let's stay away from that user experience and just let people do what they're going to do.
Yep.
So yeah, we're underneath. The design that we have right now takes that water back to the bowl.
Oh,
cool.
Okay.
So we don't think people, we don't think people are ready to have that go in the potable line, and or we're even ready for that. But we think that we can get it to.
But you could drink it, could you?
Yeah. I mean,
would it be a little sulfury?
Well, actually, maybe I should go back on that. We have some distillation technology. This isn't distilled, so we are. I think it could. We're trying to get it to where it won't smell, so that it can be because the other neat thing about that is if the water can be returned, the humans actually bringing water to the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So the fun thing is you could have something totally off grid. We're looking at, you could be way out in a national park and you just need energy for this thing. And you could say, well, if there's a little bit of water lost, the humans bringing the water to the toilet, essentially through, the urine and other things.
Very cool.
And so you could have something that would be, forever. Now, can we get it clean enough that we pipe it into the sink that's next to it? We'll see. Right now we've divided it.
Phase 2. Yeah.
That's our great. We have
but you could put
Everflow project with gray water and black water.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, you could put it on maybe crops and things, right? Or you could maybe your dog could drink it.
Yeah,
the dog would drink any kind of water,
and it's not much. I mean, right? It depends on. We're also assuming we've been. We're assuming that the fixtures get better and better, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some vacuum toilets and some others that are getting to very low flows. So,
well, yeah, I'm reminded. We've seen Bill Gates on, I think, Jimmy Kimmel and a few other shows where he's like, "Oh, I come on, and I'm drinking water, and they're drinking water that was derived from a distilling process, and it used to be poop or whatever."
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, that isn't necessarily the goal, but is that sort of what you see as possible?
Yeah, I mean, in ours, I would want to do that as a next step. So the water coming out of kind of ours, we're going to this high temperature and this high pressure, and that's separating the solids, from the liquids. But the liquid coming out yeah, if it then went through a distiller,
Yeah.
hey, the steam distilled water is doesn't matter where it came from, right? I mean, the result that comes out is pure.
Yeah.
Because I think we're thinking, I keep thinking about a toilet on the moon, being able to create water out of, I don't know if you heard about the bags of poop that we left up there on the Apollo missions, right? There's like apparently 96 bags of astronaut poop up there.
I didn't know that. Wow.
And,
Fun fact of the day.
it was one of ZuLoo's missions now is to go get it.
Yeah.
We want to be on the next mission, this Artemis mission. We want to be on it. But you could see how, well, if you could recycle that water, use that water. And then if this is the byproduct, that's a huge win, right?
Absolutely.
I would say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We think once you get to this level, and that's part of what kept me from, when we were doing combustion, the other thing that kind of turned me on this, we're doing lots of this on many of my other projects too, of kind of the goal is when it becomes carbon, stop. Right?
Okay.
When you get to this point, this is charcoal, this is coal.
Yeah.
Right? So even though this has energy value and it can be burned, don't do it, right? I'm coming out of automotive, I saw it where it's like burning gasoline is hard enough to do.
Yeah. Diesel
is really difficult. Well, this is even harder than, this is the hardest thing to do there. But what's neat is even if this gets wet, it's charcoal.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell or like this isn't dehydrated poop, right?
Thank goodness,
it's not that.
I would wear that. I would wear that as a cologne myself. But
I think this is a useful product. Great on the crops.
What's great about what you're working on is that there's 3 different components to it, right? There's the actual technology, the machinery, or the appliance is the word I'm looking for. That's a product which you could market to households eventually, should that come to market. And then you're giving households even their own form of continual revenue if they want to make this potable and sell it, right? If they want to put water back into their toilets, then you have this turn on an individual basis for an economy, for a household. We do a lot of work in developing countries. I mean, that would be huge to sell for a household to gather enough of this, right? To bring it to market for their family or to distill water and bring that to their neighbors and other community members. So really is genius that it's not just one component that you're trying to, okay, let's bring this into households. Like this could really change a lot for a lot of people. Very cool.
Especially in remote areas, right? I mean, that's the big deal. Wanted to comment real quick on this other article about Market Watch talking about the global smart toilet market. I mean, I guess you would say you're in the smart toilet market, right?
Yeah, Hull Labs has, you probably saw, remember Medic?
Yeah.
So we have another,
I want to talk about that.
Lots in toilets.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Medic toilet while we still have time. It says here, this is Market Watch, most recent. They say the global smart toilet market is valued at $3.3 billion currently, expected to reach $5.1 billion at the end of 2027. Supposed to grow at a rate of 6% per year. I mean, when we're talking about smart technology toilets, I mean, that is obviously the wave of the future, whether you're talking about, toilets on the moon or toilets in remote areas and what have you. Let's talk about the Medic toilet, because this is super cool technology, being able to, you're basically saying, hey, we don't need a wastewater treatment plant because we're,
going to do it in your own home.
We're going to do it in your own home, and you're going to throw this in your garden or whatever, or you're going to cook with it, whatever. The Medic toilet is super cool. When we did a tour before the pandemic, you showed us how it basically is and I think it even is related to the pandemic because it's able to measure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's able to measure what's coming out of a person, right, and give them information instead of flushing it down the drain. But it's able to analyze the material, the poop, and give you health information about whether it's diabetes or whether it's potential viruses in your system and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you can talk about explain how that works on a kindergarten level for us. And what's the future? What do you see the future being for that?
Yeah, this was a project that the project split pretty rapidly. So maybe 12 years ago, we started working on toilets and sewage treatment and a lot of these things. And then very quickly, some of the engineers there saw the opportunity for sensing, look, there's so much information in that waste. And so started work on this MEDIC and I'm working on this on the sewage side. Chad Adams and his team are working on this health sensing. And so by using what they do is they've designed the whole toilet. They have gone into that. And the product they're working on right now captures just a little sample of urine when you use the toilet, shines a fiber optic through it, has a mass spectrometer, and can analyze that and come up with. So it's really looking at different.
And it feeds that information to, my understanding, it feeds it to a computer that gives maybe a doctor or the person just immediate feedback, correct?
Yeah, they've hooked it into electronic health records and other things. So the beauty of it, I'd say, why the toilet is the right place to go is it is the one place where the measurements will be taken. Right. So the challenge with, we put a Fitbit on our wrist or a cuff and it takes something for us to do it. And it means that those of us, like myself, who haven't been to a doctor in years, who needs this isn't getting it. And, but you can't get past using the toilet, right? So
everybody's got to do that.
Yeah. So it's got sensors in the seat as well. It's doing blood pressure, it's doing heart rate, it's looking at weight.
And also analyzes the poop too, right?
Yeah, the first one is just doing urine samples, but they do have tech that's looking at the rest of it. And then also, you probably heard this in the news. Scientists have been, tracking COVID through the sewers.
Yeah,
it's one that could be done there. You can imagine if you're having a COVID test every time you use, you could bring on any pandemic you want, right? We'd be able to just sense it and know really, really quickly. But some really neat technology that they've got a product that they're production tooling for, and that'll be part of that smart toilet revolution that's coming.
No, I think it's super cool. That's why, I was super impressed when we saw it, and I'm sure you've made vast improvements since then. So that's super cool. Well,
time has flown by because I'm just like all these new technologies that I really had no idea even existed or were, even in the forefront of people's minds, like they're here. And I'm thinking about now all the implications that might come about because of things like a medical toilet or being able to do this. Super cool. Oh, well, Mike, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on the show with us, explaining how this works and in non-engineering language that's helpful for us.
My pleasure. I'm glad that you're shining a light on this area. I'll tell you, as an automotive engineer, coming out of an area where there were tens of thousands of us engineers working on, electrification and autonomy, we need those things. But what excites me about this area is just the white space. This is a huge problem for society, and and I think that's why I'm excited about it on the technology side. Is there's not a lot, being done. But thank you for shining further light on it socially, and hopefully getting people motivated to see the problem that's there.
Thank you. Yeah, that's our hope. That's our goal. And we're doing it with like-minded folks like you. So thank you.
Thanks for blowing our mind too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I know I got C's and D's and F's in chemistry, physics, because, I'm glad you guys took the baton.
Yes, we love it. And to our listeners, thanks for joining in. Thanks for listening in today. We're excited to announce and keep moving forward with different technologies and letting you know. And if you're an up-and-coming engineer and you like to be creative, perhaps the toilet space is the space for you.
It's the final frontier.
It's the final frontier. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
for listening to the ZuLoo Poodcast. Follow us on social media at our links in the show notes below. To learn more, visit our website, ZuLoo.org. If you liked the podcast, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. For even more ZuLoo fun, send us an email with your toilet stories to podcast@zuloo.com for a chance to be featured on the podcast. This episode of the ZuLoo Poodcast is sponsored by ZuLoo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at ZuLoo.com.